think as an audience, as a character, you always think you can outsmart something that's, outside of you. You have a chance. But if it's inside of you, I mean, that's the true horror. Even if you don't know you're already a creature, because basically that's the rule. It's not like, okay, I'm infected, I'm sort of, a crazy zombie, but nobody sees it. You could be thinking you're normal, but still doubt the fact that you might not be normal. I mean, it even fools you. And that there's this thing inside of you eating you away, and it could just pop out any moment. She really comes across as a really smart scientist and dedicated and very honest and believable. And I think the movie really needed, somebody like her to see all the events through her eyes and just think with her what she's going through and how, we as an audience or she should respond to the situation. And in that sense, it's sort of a mystery, because she finds all these clues and it could lead to one thing, and that's like almost unbelievable, but it's true. Still feel the character in the monster. Like if it just explodes into one big, monster, it's just a monster. But if you see remnants of remains of the original characters you cared for, that's awesome. The movie is a great character piece about, a group of people stranded in a camp, and they think they made the biggest discovery in the world, finding alien life. But it turns all against them. And if they would flee the camp, they basically would infect the whole world. So they have to solve it just amongst themselves, just to kill this creature here and now, because otherwise the whole world will be taken over.
I play Kate Lloyd in the film. She is a young paleontologist, just kind of starting out on her career, and gets an offer to come work with this renowned scientist, and go to a trip to Antarctica and locate this fossilized specimen. And so she's really excited and honored to go up there. And then once she gets there, she finds that it's a bit of a can of worms that she wasn't expecting to get involved in, and all hell breaks loose. The team of Norwegians and also the Americans that come into it, when they find this alien frozen in the ice, it's initially extremely exciting, and their first thought is, we're going to be rich and famous. We've found an alien. This is unbelievable. And the scientist Sander, who's kind of heading up the whole expedition, decides he wants to drill into it and perform some tests on it. And my character Kate is a little bit like, it seems a little illogical, it seems a little impulsive, we should really go about this in the proper way and get it to a environment that could better handle this situation. But he's a little bit greedy and anxious, and so once they do that, it's out and it breaks free, and it basically starts taking over the bodies of the people at this base, and gets to the point where nobody knows who's human and who's an alien or a thing. And it just it's like this mistrust and this paranoia that starts creeping through all of the people and all the minds of the people at this base, and everybody starts losing it a little bit. And it's kind of the people of strongest will and strongest mind are the ones who can kind of last the longest. But it's a pretty crazy ride. It's one of those sort of universal themes of, who can we trust, and what happens when we lose all of our trust in someone, or we can't trust anyone around us, and how does that affect us, and what will we do if that happens, and what kind of chaos, can permeate in that kind of situation. So it's definitely a scary thing when, you feel that someone is someone you can't trust, and even if you're wrong, you can drive yourself crazy that way. And so that's sort of what happens in the film is you never know who is or who isn't, but no matter what, people are going to die basically, and it's going to be a horrific thing. No one is safe. I mean, this thing is dreadful and scary, and it seems impossible to escape. So there is that feeling of like, how the hell are they gonna survive this? And so it's definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. The original is an all-male cast, which is a really interesting thing, and it was really cool, to see a film that has an all-male cast. But I think that we really want to set ourselves apart from that. This isn't a remake; it is a real prequel, and it is about completely different characters, and completely different people in the same situation. And so to me, having a female lead kind of immediately says this isn't a remake. We're doing something different and we're bringing in this different dynamic. The fact that it's a Norwegian base, I think, for my character as well as the other American characters, it sort of adds to the whole paranoia of it because they're saying things you don't understand and they're talking to each other and you don't know if they're forming some sort of alliance against you, and it really builds up that tension.
My character in the movie is Carter Braxton, who's a helicopter pilot, and he kind of, Carter and Jameson and Griggs are a trio of Americans who basically have an outfit running a Seahawk helicopter between the McMurdo, larger McMurdo base in Antarctica to the outer stations. The Thing is a prequel to, the Carpenter movie, The Thing, where we get to learn what happened to the Norwegian base, which, if we've seen the Carpenter film, we'll know has been completely decimated. But the mystery as to how and why will be unfolded in this film. And our version of The Thing is a Norwegian team of scientists have stumbled across a UFO in the ice, and they found a specimen, an alien specimen, encased in ice, which they bring back to this base, and they make the mistake of drilling in and testing it, and all hell breaks loose, basically, and together with myself and a team of kind of American, helicopter guys and various other characters that, these dozen or so characters kind of fight for their life and kind of fight to understand what the alien is and how it can be defeated, and the bodies pile up. It's really interesting as the psychology of, the film is that you've got, a lot of times in a movie you've got one villain and it's very clear who that villain is. It's really interesting to know that you not only have a villain that can split apart and multiply, but you've got a villain that can also seed itself into a person and go unnoticed. So the sense of paranoia is quite extreme, and I think that's where a lot of the success of this film is really in the not so much in the gore or the actions as much as it can be amongst the kind of paranoid lines between characters and the dread or anticipation of something that could happen. He's had such a kind of an honest look at the way it should feel, the way it should look, and stayed true to that for the film rather than, done some overly Hollywood version of it. Because I think this is what the fans will want to see. I think this is they want to see the dirt, they want to see the isolation, they want to see the paranoia and the fear in this locked-in, harsh environment.
The cast being predominantly foreign, Norwegian, and they speak in their native tongue, I think it really helped the film, because what it does, certainly for the audience and for us as actors, it takes you out of the fact that you're in a movie. You'll see here, there's only one particular way that you can kill this beast or thing or whatever it is, and it's a cool way. I mean, we use fire, but if you see the way that they've used it, they torch people. I mean, the stuntmen have done a brilliant job here. I mean, they literally torched one guy for 5 minutes. He was on fire, and it was coming from every angle. I mean, this guy was a ball of fire, and he was going for 5 minutes, and then they put him out. He's like, all right, that was good. I was just like, wow. I mean, it looks really, really good. I love the fire element because it looks vicious. I just can't wait to press that trigger and toast somebody in it or shoot them. Watch that blood splurt out. Yes, this is great. Keep a very serious face, though. We're actors. We're doing a craft. Bang, bang, bang. Yes, lovely. Can I do another one? I think fans can really, really expect to get their money's worth for the shock and horror value. It really is. But not in a tacky way. It's done really tastefully and classy, but it's gonna scare the wits out of you because that thing is nasty. It give you nightmares. That thing, man. And I'm a big guy, but I get squeamish every time I see it. You know what I mean?
I think one of the most interesting things about this movie and the way that it's being shot is there's different kind of movies in the genre. There are gory movies and there are horror movies and there are psychological thrillers. And I think that of those three, my favorite is obviously the psychological thriller. And I think that that becomes more character based versus like, oh, there's a thing, it's attacking people, there's gore, things are, there's blood everywhere. Versus it, what it does to you and what it does to the characters, what it does to the relationships. I think it's Aliens meets Lord of the Flies in that, when society is no longer dictating how we treat each other and the relationships, like what we do for self-preservation. And that's what I think that makes this movie so fun to play, is it's just about me and you. I mean, there's an alien out here, but it's about what we're going to do to each other to for in the form in the under the guise of self-preservation. These guys have done their research. They want to do justice to the relationships of that first movie, and they want to do justice to the tension that's built. I mean, because that is that movie. By the time you're into, from the second that movie opens, you don't know what's going on, and the tension is just all the way through. I mean, Carpenter did an amazing job of cultivating, just this rising terror throughout that whole movie. Alaska is a great way to start this movie because I think that no matter what you read and how much research you do about these guys, there's no way to kind of understand the vastness and the loneliness of working in this location. Like, we're at 6,000 feet, and I remember walking off kind of at lunch where I couldn't see anything in my peripheral vision, so it was literally just glacier. And that's how it is on all four sides, and it's kind of terrifying. It's almost claustrophobic in the reverse kind of sense of the word.
One of the things that Eric Newman talked about early on was like McCready was such a seminal character. He's kind of iconic, and we thought about, did we really want to do a movie where we were going to imitate somebody as iconic as the McCready character? And we thought, well, let's get as far away from that as possible. So we started talking about a woman being in the lead. And there's, there's, as we all know, a couple of movies that have done that and done it quite successfully. And one of the movies that all of us really absolutely admire tremendously is Ridley Scott's Alien. And so a template for the kind of character we were interested in was the Sigourney Weaver character from Alien. So, we pretty much made that decision that that's how we were going to go. And from that point on, that was just the thrust of it. We never looked back, and it was just a matter of writing a script that, made the most of that. People have it, some people don't. Mary Winstead's got it. So, and she's got a real strength, and a real credibility. The character's a scientist. She is smart. She looks smart. She's beautiful, but she's not beautiful in the model kind of way. She's beautiful in this kind of way that's both accessible and powerful. And I don't know, once we saw her, it was like, yeah, that's the gal.
It's a scary thought not to know who you can trust, and that's from the beginning. The first thing we said about this version of the movie is that it's about trust. Who you can trust, who you can't trust. And I think in the end of the movie, we come out in we take a very clear position on trust and who you actually can and can't trust. They're not, rubes. They're not a bunch of blue-collar guys like the Carpenter movie, which was a very interesting way to go. But these guys think they have it all figured out. You've got, a guy who creates this problem to a certain degree. The Carpenter movie was very much, it arrives in the form of this dog, and at that point there's nothing you can do about it. There was no, this is not divine retribution for some, ignorance or greed or arrogance, or hubris. This is just a bad break. There's an element in our film of culpability on the part of the humans who have tried to, as we always do, control this thing that we get in trouble as a species, very often thinking, oh, we can handle it. It's an alien. Like we're a pretty sophisticated race ourselves.